Today we shall discuss the next laboratory experiment. So this is related to the college database. So in this college database, so few things are already mentioned in the question itself, that is the tables that we have to create. So we need to create 5 tables. So that is student, semester section, class, course and IA marks. So in this student table, the attributes include USN, name, address, phone number and gender. Here USN is chosen as the primary key. In the SEM section table, the semester section ID followed by semester and sections. So this indicates the available semester and sections in the particular college. So and just an ID to identify the sem and section uniquely. Then the class table. So the class table has USN and SSID. So USN means it is a student and SSID means semester and sections. So which means this table will include the student and his or her semester bar section information. So this information will be present in this particular table. Then in course table, so subject code, title, semester and credits. So all the subjects that are present will be in the particular table. Then IA marks table. So IA marks table will have USN, subject code, SSID, test 1, test 2, test 3 and final IA. So USN means it is a student, subject code means the course, SSID means semester and section information. So in the question itself, so all the primary keys are mentioned over here. So you can create a table based on this particular information. So now let us look at the entity relationship diagram in order to identify the relationships among the tables. So in student table, so we have USN as the primary key, name, address, phone number and gender, and this student belongs to the particular semester and section. So semester and section information is over there, and this relationship is through the table class. So SSID semester section. Then one student can belong to one class or one section at a given point of time. Then we have subject, so which is the another base table present over here. So subject has subject code, title, semester and credits. So where subject code is the primary key. Then IA marks. So IA marks contains USN. So USN will come from student table. Then SSID will come from this particular table, and then subject code will come from subject table. So this has 3 relationships. Okay, one with student, another with semester section, and another with subject. And this IMX has test 1, test 2 and test 3. This particular final IA, so we have made it as a derivable attribute or derived attribute. So derived attribute means an attribute whose value is derived from another attribute. So final IA is computed based on these 3 test marks. So that's why it is a derivable attribute. So next, in order to create the table, so we need the schema diagram which indicates the foreign keys that has to be constructed. So look at this particular schema diagram. So student table, so it is not referring to any other tables. Then semester and section, so it is SSID, and it is also a base table, so which means it doesn't have any foreign keys. Whereas class USN, it is referring to a student table, and SSID is referring to semester and section table. So here in this particular class table, so both USN and SSID will be the primary key will be USN and SSID, whereas foreign key will be, first foreign key will be USN, another second foreign key will be SSID. Then subject table, again this subject table is a base table, which means it doesn't have any foreign keys. Then IA marks, so IA marks will have USN, subject code and SSID. So all these three put together acts as a primary key. So which means in this table the primary key is composed of three things. So that is USN, subject code and SSID. And all these three are foreign keys only. So first foreign key will be USN. So another foreign key will be subject code, so referring to subject table, and another foreign key SSID, so that will be referring to class table. Okay, so this is how we need to create the tables. So first we have to create the student table. So the order in which we create is first one, this one, second we can create this, third we can either create class or we can create subject. So now order doesn't matter. So but after creating student and semester section only, we have to create the class. So let us call it as 3, and subject we can create at 4. At last we have to create the IA marks. So because subject, all the three are referred in IA marks, so this has to be the last table we create. So last but one can be class, and all other base tables can be created in the beginning only. So next we shall look at the create table statements. So the first table which we create is the student table. So student table USN, variable character 10, primary key. Then the second attribute is uh, name, varchar of 25, address, varchar of 25, phone number, number of 10. So which means it will have maximum of 10 digits. So that is the meaning of number of 10. Then gender, one character. So one character is sufficient if we just mention M and yes. So if you want to completely mention or expand them, then we have to increase the size of this character. Okay. So when we execute this particular table creation command in the Oracle console, then we have to describe it. So the command to describe any table is DESC followed by the table name. So if we give this describe student, so the following description about this particular table will be displayed like this. So I have already executed and put the screenshot over here. So student, S name, address, phone number and gender. So the primary key is mentioned over here. Okay, and the respective lengths whatever we have created is present. For numbers, so we will not have the length, instead we will have a precision and scale. So precision means the digits before the decimal dot, like this, and scale means after the dot. So this part is scale and this part is precision. So this is for numerical values. So for numerical values, precision and scale, whereas for characters, we have length field. Okay. So varchar, you can observe it is varchar 2. So by default, it will convert the data type to varchar 2. So both are same. So this is the first table which we have to create. So next we can create the semester and a section table. So here SSID, uh, varchar of 5, which is the primary key. Semester number 2, we have taken 2 digits. Section again 1 character. So this number you need not remember, you can put any numbers over here, so it doesn't matter. Again, when we describe this particular table using the describe command, DESC followed by sem section. So this is the information which we obtain, or the description that is displayed. So this primary key, it indicates SSID is the primary key. Then class table. So class table contains the foreign keys also. So here USN varchar of 10, SSID varchar of 5. Okay. Primary key is USN comma SSID. Okay. So yes, both will act as a primary key. So since primary key contains 2 attributes, so we have to mention it separately like this. So otherwise you could have included here itself. If only one attribute is there, you could have done like that. Then foreign key. So foreign key, so this is the keyword foreign space key. In the bracket, we have to mention the attribute, that is USN. So USN references student table, and in the student table, it is referring the USN attribute. So then another foreign key SSID. So this SSID means it belongs to which table? So this belongs to class table. Okay, references semester section table of SSID. So in our case, the attribute names are same in both the tables. So if it is different, then we have to write over here. So next, after describing this particular table, so this is the description. So only 2 attributes, USN and SSID. And here you can observe the primary key. So it is 1 and 2. So the primary key is 1 and 2, which means the 2 attributes together act as a primary key. Then next one, subject table. So subject table contains the subject code as the primary key, then title varchar, then semester it is number, credits again we have taken it as a number. Then after describing this particular table, here after creating the table, so you have to execute the description command. Only when we run this particular description command, so this description about the table will appear. So here it contains only one primary key, so the various lengths can be seen over here. Next table, that is IMArcs table. So in IMArcs table, so we have USN, then subject code, SSID, test 1 2 3 numbers, final IA. Primary key is USN, subject code, SSID. So all the 3 together act as a primary key. Then foreign key USN. So this USN belongs to this IMArcs table. So this attribute we need to mention over here. Okay. References student of USN, foreign key subject code, again this is our IMArcs table. subject code references subject of subject code, foreign key, SSID references sem section of SSID. So here we have to mention the table it is referring to and the attribute it is referring to. So, and when we describe this particular table using DESC command, DESC followed by IMAX, when we execute this command, so the description will be displayed to us. And here you can observe uh, this particular table, it is having 3 primary keys. Okay. The length of varchars and the numbers we have fixed. So when we create a table, we need not specify this final IA as the derived attribute. So we will create it as a normal attributes only. Okay. So then after creating all the tables, we need to insert the data. So before inserting the data, we must have a look at the queries that we want to run over this particular database. So it is based on the queries that are asked, we will be inserting the data. So let us go back and look at the queries one by one. Okay. Only query statements we will look. List all the student details studying in 4th semester C section. Okay. So 4th sem, what is being asked? So I will just mention right over here. 4th semester C section. So which means whenever we enter the data, there should be a semester 4 and a section C. Then the second computation, compute total number of male and female student in each semester and in each section. So it doesn't mention any specifics about the data that we must insert. Then the third one, create a view of test 1 marks of student USN 1BI 15CS 101 in all courses. So which means one student we need to insert with this particular USN. Okay. So that USN is 1BI 15CS 101. So this we need to insert. One student with this particular USN should be there. So next, fourth one, calculate final IA and update the corresponding table. So again, it doesn't have any specifics about the data that has to be inserted. Okay, categorize the students based on the following criterion. If final IA is 17 to 20, then category is outstanding. Then if final IA is between 12 to 16, then average. If it is less than 12, then category is weak. And again, give these details only for 8th semester ABC section students. So which means we need to run this particular query for 8th sem ABC section. So which means we need to insert the semester 8th semester with sections ABC. So that should be there in our database. Okay. So these are the 5 queries that we have to execute on this particular database. So the specific data that we want to insert is these things. So 4th semester C section, then the particular student USN, then followed by 8th semester ABC section. So we will insert the data like this. So we have inserted plenty of students data here over here because in order to obtain the semester wise gender data, that is number of male, female, everything, at least we need to insert so many students. So that's why we have so much of insert statements over here. So here the student insert into student value. So for inserting into student table, so the USN that is given in the question, that we are considering it as a first student, that is 1BI 15CS 101. So it is mentioned here also. So this we are taking, then followed by the name, then address, phone number and gender. Okay, so USN has to be different for each student. So while you execute it, what you do is you just copy it. So phone number, address, all the things you can leave as it is, because we have no queries to execute based on either the name of the student or address or phone number. So only thing you modify is the USN and the genders. Okay, so many entries we have made. So this is USN series 19, these are USN series 18, USN series 17, and some name, random names and mobile numbers can be given, and some randomly gender also we will insert. Okay, so this is about inserting data into student. So only one specific student that we have to insert is this particular one, that is 1BI15CS 101. So after executing this, so the table will look like this. So in order to check this particular table result, the command that we have to execute is select star from student. So when we execute this particular command, so this particular table, we can able to see the data that we have inserted. So next table is semester and section. So semester and section contains the first field, that is SSID. So SSID can be anything, so any character, followed by semester and then section. So you can observe here SSID we have taken in such a way that so it is easy to identify which sem and which section. So it is a variable character 8A, which means 8 sem A section. So 8B 8 sem B section, 8C 8 semester C section. So we have inserted 8 sem with ABC section. So this solves our one of the query. So another query was asked was on 4C. So for 4 also we will insert ABC, and for the remaining semester, so we can just put A and B sections. So even though if we don't insert the 6th and 2nd semester, then also it's fine. Next table, it is the class values table. So this class values table indicates the student and section mapping. So which student is studying in which semester and section. So for that, this particular class table includes USN and SSID. So USN SSID. So you can observe here. So the first student belongs to 2A, second student 4A, 4C, 6A, 6B, 8A, 8B. So we will assign these students to respective semesters and sections. So after inserting this and executing the commands, so this will be our resulting um, class table. So in order to check this data, the command that we have to run is select star from class. Okay. So this command will give this particular table as the output. And again, this assignment is just random. So in your tests and exams, you even need not remember the mapping, everything. So just randomly put the USNs and assign the sections. So then next insertion is for subject. So for each semester you assign few subjects. So just like this. So Math 21, maths second sem, credits is 4. So PCD 22, PCD name second sem 3, then 41 42 for fourth sem, 61 62 for sixth sem, 81 82 for eighth sem. Okay. Then in order to look at the data that is being inserted into the table, so use select star from subject table. So this is how the subject table looks. Subject code, title, semester and credits. Next, insert into IA marks. So we are inserting the IA marks into, again, there are no specific queries on IA marks. So that's why we'll insert only for 8th ABC section students, because we have to categorize the 8 ABC students based on the final IA marks that has been obtained. So we'll just enter only for 8th sem students. So that is USN, subject code, section, then test 1, test 2, test 3 and final IA. So you can observe over here, the final IA has to be computed based on the test 1, test 2 and test 3 marks. So that's why in the beginning when we insert the values, so final IA, so final IA value will be entered as null. Null means that particular value is not known when the data is entered. So in the final IA place, so we have to put null, because we have to write one more procedure to compute the final IA based on test 1, test 2 and test 3 marks. So after inserting the data, so if we look at the data that is present in IA marks table, so USN, subject code, SSID, test 1, test 2, test 3, final IA. So all the final IA we entered it as null. So that's why here a hyphen is present over here in place of final IA. So this is about inserting data into the table. So next we shall look at the queries one by one. So let us look at the first query. List all student details studying in 4th sem C section. So this query is very straightforward. So we want the student details and the semester and section that we want to put as a condition is 4th C. So you can observe the student details is present in the student table. Okay, and the sem and section details is present in the sem section table, right? But in order to link these two, we need the class table, because in class table we have USN and SSID. So SSID is present in SEM section table. So three tables are required in order to get this particular information. So in order to join student and class table, so it is s.usn is equal to c.usn. Then to join class and SEM section, it is c.ssid is equal to se.ssid. So se is the alias. So in order to join three tables, two conditions are required minimum. So two conditions we have put. Then in the question it is asked as the semester should be 4th and section should be C. So that condition we need to put. So SEM and section attributes are present in the SEM section table only. So sc.sem equal to 4 and sc.section is equal to C. So this we need to put. So SEM is an integer value. So even though it is integer, we can put it in single quote, or we can remove the single quote also, because automatic type conversion among compatible attribute types will happen in Oracle automatically. So this is the entire query. So first, until here it is joining the three tables, and then the two condition that is asked in the question. So after executing this query, so the result we obtain over here is there. So two students are present in 4th SEM C section. Okay. So next we shall look at the second query, that is compute total number of male and female students in each semester and in each section. So in each SEM and each section, we need to count the how many male students are there and how many female are there. So our result will be having a header something like this. So semester, section, gender and count. So let us look at that one only. So first let us look at the kind of result we need. So SEM, section, gender, count we need to print. So 6th A female count, 6th A male count. So if it is 0, it is not displayed in the query. Like that, for each combination of SEM section and gender, we need to print the corresponding count. So the query will look like this. Okay. So male and female information of a particular student is present in student table. So in student table, that information is present. SEM and section information is present in the SEM section table, and the mechanism to join the student table and the SEM section table is through class table. Again, in this query, we require three tables. So that is student alias S, SEM section we are calling it as SE, class table calling it as C. And in order to join these three tables, so we need two conditions, that is s.usn is equal to c.usn and se.ssid is equal to c.ssid. So this will join the three tables. So then what we have to do is, once all the three tables are joined, we have to group the data. On what basis we will group the data? So grouping will be based on semester, section and gender. So that is SEM, section and gender. So group by class we have to use. So in that we will specify group by se.sem, se.section, se.gender. So now we are grouping the entire result into SEM, section and gender. So which means the same SEM, semester, same section, same gender. So all those students will be grouped now. Then what we have to do is, for each group how many students are there, that count we need to extract. and the count is based on the gender attribute. So in the selection, what we have to do is, so whatever in the oracle, whatever attributes that we use in group by class should be compulsorily used in the selection class. So all those three will directly appear from group by to selection. Then additionally we need the count. So count of s dot gender. So for this attribute, we have put the count. Instead, what we can do is we can also put it as a star also, it doesn't matter. And this particular count value, we are renaming that as count. So attribute that we are renaming using as operator. Now our result will look like this. So as we saw earlier, like this, sem, section, gender, count. So this is the renaming what we had done. Okay. So in the counts for each sem, each section followed by the gender, it is displayed. So for any semester and section, if that particular gender count is 0, then that will not appear over here. So 0 means it will not appear. Only those values which are greater than or equal to 1 will appear in the result. So next we shall look at the other one. So that is create a view of test 1 marks of a student with USN 1 BI 15 CS 101 in all courses. So which means we need the test 1 marks of this particular student. So in order to obtain the test 1 marks of a particular student, so we need IA marks table. So what we do is, here a view has to be created. So view is nothing but a query, that is a virtual table. So what we do is, so just look at this particular part over here. So select subject code and test 1 marks from IA marks, where USN is equal to this one. So this part, what does it do is, it will give all the details of so after writing the query, so we will just add create view test. We are giving a name for the view, that is test 1 view, as the query we have to write. So view is nothing but a virtual table that is realized when it is executed or when a query is run on that particular view. So in order to look the data that is present in the view, we have to use it like a table, that is select star from test 1 view. So then it will display the result, subject code test 1 of which student, of 1 BI 15 CS 101. So this is how we have to create a view. So next question we have, that is calculate the final IA, average of best 2 test marks and update the corresponding table for all students. So here we need to find the final IA. How to evaluate the final IA? It is the average of best 2 test marks. So out of the 3 tests, we have to take the best 2 out of them, then find the average of those. That will become the final IA. So in order to use the feature of Oracle, we need to understand how the case works. So we have a keyword case. Okay. This feature is used in 2 queries. So first we shall look at how this particular keyword case works. So in a programming terminology, so we will be using else if conditions, right? In C, how we write it? It is so in C programming, we will use a if else ladder like this. So if, so let us consider a else if ladder in C programming. So how it works? So first in else if we will be writing the if condition, if followed by condition 1, then we'll put the braces, then else if, then we'll put the condition 2, then another else if, we can put the condition 3. Then if we want to execute any other statement when all the conditions fails, then we will use the else part. Whereas this else part that we have mentioned at the end, so this particular part is optional. Okay, so either we can use it or we can ignore it. So it's a similar if else can be used in Oracle also. In Oracle SQL, we can use this sort of programming using case statements. So the syntax of case statements will be like this. So it has to start with a keyword case. Okay. Then it has to end with a keyword end. Okay. So case and end. So in between, so we can write these things. Okay. So instead of if keyword, here we will be having when. So when followed by condition we can mention over here. So what condition we want? So this condition can be greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, and many boolean terms can be joined together using and or operator. So that condition we can mention over here. So let us write it as condition 1. Then instead of braces, so we will be using a keyword that is then. And whatever statements we want to execute, so we can put it in a parenthesis like this. Okay. So just like what we write inside a braces can be written inside this then statements, and condition can be written here like this. Okay, so this uh, represents only one condition. So if we want one more, so we can write one more when again condition 2, then keyword open and close. So here the execution statements can be returned. Right. So along with this, we can also write the else statement also. So else statement can be written like this. For each, along with each condition, we can write a else part also. So else part can be written after then part. So when condition, then else. Again in the parenthesis. So whatever execution we need, so we can put them. Okay. So this is how the else if concept can be brought in the SQL part. So now with this syntax, so we can be able to solve the fourth and fifth queries. But how these things are applied in execution, that we shall discuss now. So for this purpose, let us consider a table. So that is, let us again consider the student table. Okay. So here let us have USN. So for simplicity, let us take it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and let us take the name as ABCD. XYZ MN. And let us take the age 20, 25, 35, 40. So now we want to apply the condition based on certain parameters. Like if the age is less than 25, we will print it as if age is less than 25, so we will print it as young. Okay, and if it is greater than 25 or equal to 25, we will print old, just like this. So if this kind of things needs to be applied, so what we have to do is we have to check this particular condition for each row. So which means if we have 4 rows, so 4 times we have to check for this age whether if it is less than 25 or greater than 25. So when these kind of conditions are applied, so we will go with the case statements. So our query will now look like this: select USN comma name. Okay, then the last thing we need is the category. So how we will decide the category, that is young or old. So how it is decided? It is based on the case statement. So the third attribute, instead of writing like this, so what we'll do is, so we'll just put it in a parenthesis. So all those conditions for checking the age, whether it is greater than or less than, so it is mentioned in these parentheses. So then afterwards, so we can write from student, so it can be done. So now what happens? So whatever we have written or we will be writing inside this parenthesis will be applied for each row. So before selecting any row in the output, this part will be executed. So here what we can write is case. So each case should be ended with a keyword end. Okay, and we have to write when clause. Okay, so when, that condition we have to write it over here. So what is the condition? So condition is age less than 25. When the attribute name is age is less than 25. So if this condition is true, then what we have to write, or then what we have to return in the result? It is young. Okay. So the return statement will be writing over here like this. Else case, what we have to do in our thing, we have to put this in the parenthesis also. We have else part. So if else part is there, so we have to mention like this: else old. Okay. So case when age is less than 25, then young, else old. Now in the result, when we execute this query, our result will be like this. Again, we can rename this particular attribute in the query, like after this as category CAT. So let us call it as category. So now in the result, our attributes will be USN, name, then followed by category. So this is the category, is the renaming of this case statement. So USN1 ABCD. So what is the category? So again, is age less than 25? Yes, then it will return young. Then second one, EFG. What is the age? 25. Is it less? No, it is less than or equal to. So it will print old. For remaining 3 and 4 also, so it will return old, and the respective names will be entered out here. So this is how this case statement works. For each underlying row, this condition is evaluated and the result is returned, and the returned result will be placed in that particular column. And just like if else ladder of C programming, this case statements can be nested to any levels. So it can be nested. So nested means we can write one case statement inside another case statement. So you shall see that one also. So its syntax will appear like this. So case, so end, it will be there. Then we will be writing when condition 1, then, right? So in the then clause we can write one more case. So this case, and when condition 2, then, right? So this is ending over here. So like this we can nest the case statements to any level. So this then statement will end over here, and inside that then clause we have one more case itself. Likewise, we can write in else part, and in the else part also we can put one more case statement, and inside this second or nested then part, here also we can write one more case statement. So likewise, so any level of nesting can be done. So just like in C programming, we write like this: if, inside if, one more if, inside this if, one more. So like that. So any level of nesting is possible. So with this information, now let us go back to our query and check how to solve the fourth and fifth. So let us look at the question. Calculate the final IA, that is average of best 2 marks, and update the corresponding table for all students. So which means for each student we have to, okay, so consider this IA marks table. So yeah, this part we have to fill after running an update command. But before running an update command, we must compute the final IA. And how to compute the final IA? For each student, we have to take the 3 test marks. So test 1, test 2, and test 2, test 3. So we have to first compute the best 2 test marks. So that is one challenge. And then we have to take the average. So out of 3 marks, we need to decide which 2 are the best one. So for that we have to use some logic. So that can be solved in many ways. So but we will use the one like this. So first what we will assume is test 1 marks. So what are the different possible scenarios. So maximum are best test marks. So best test marks can be either T1, T2 or T1, T3 or T2 and T3. So only three possibles are there: T1 with T2 or T1 with T3 or T2 with T3. So this is the best two results. But out of this, we must also extract the highest, first highest and the second highest one. So what are the possible options? The first highest test marks can be T1 or it can be T2 or the another option can be T3. So when do we say T1 is highest out of 3 tests? So that condition is when T1 is greater than T2 and T1 is also greater than T3. So that is the condition, right? Then when we will say T2 is the first highest, so these are the possible options we are discussing. Okay. So T2 can be the highest of the 3 tests if T2 is greater than T1 and it is also greater than T3. In a similar way, so we can say T3 is highest when T3 is greater than T1 and T3 is also greater than. So if you write it in C programming terminology, we would have used a double ampersand. Okay, like this. So this, when this condition is executed, we will get the top one. Okay, now the task is to find the second highest. Okay, so in this case, in the first case, what happened? T1 is highest. Let us imagine case 1. So this is case 1, case 2, this is case 3. So in case 1, T1 is the, we have assumed it to be the highest one. So if T1 is the first highest, then we need to find the second highest. So second highest can be either T2 or it can be T3. So how to find it? So that we'll find based on if condition. If T2 is greater than T3, then the second highest is T2, else T3. T3 is the second highest. Okay. Then similarly here, if second highest can be either T1 or T3. So if T1 is greater than T3, then the second highest is T1. So else T3 is the second highest. So here in this case, if second highest can be either T1 or T2. So T1 greater than T2, then it is T1. So else T2 is the second highest. So in each case, now we have found the first highest and second highest. See, case 1, T1 is the first highest, either T2 or T3 is the second highest. So in case 2, T2 is the first highest, either T1 or T3 is the second highest. In third case, T3 is the first highest, T1 or T2 is the second highest. Now what is being asked in the question is, out of the 3 tests, we have to find the top 2. Once we find the top 2, then we have to find the average of the top 2 tests. So in this particular case, T1 and T2 are the top 2, right? So in place of T2, what we can put is T1 plus T2 divided by 2. So that we will find the average, right? So this is the average which we obtain. Here in place of T3, we can put T1 plus T3 divided by 2. So that is our required solution. So in case 3, here you can write T2 plus T1 divided by 2. Then here instead of T3, so we can compute it as T2, that is the first highest, plus the second highest in this case is T3 divided by 2. So similarly here, in place of T1, we can write the first highest is T3 plus the second highest is T1 by 2 average. Then in this case, first highest is T3 plus second highest is T2 and its average divided by 2. So now we have 6 formulas. So that is depending on 3 different cases. So what we have just written, we'll convert this into a case statement. Okay. So now look at this particular screenshot. Okay. So the entire command will now look like this. So update IA marks. The short form which we are using for this particular table is IA1. Okay. So IA1 is the alias. Okay. Then set final IA is equal to, we have to write and select the highest marks. So which means for each student we have to compute it. So that computation we will write it as a separate select statement. So select statement, inside that we will have a case. So how this particular case works? Just look at this case. So this is our first case. So just like how we mentioned, so this is our first case. So in the first case, we assumed test1 marks is the highest. So in the when clause, we have to write when test1 greater than or equal to test2 and test1 greater than or equal to test2. So here we will also use the equality symbol because 2 test marks can be same also. So equality we will use. So test1 greater than test2 and test1 greater than test3. So in this case what we will do, we will compute again for the second case or the second highest. So the second highest computation will take with nested case statement. So this entire part is a nested case statement. So what we will write? Case when if test1 is the first highest, test2 and test3 we have to compare. So test2 greater than or equal to test3, then the computation which we did is present over here. Then test1 plus test2 by 2. Else the second part is here. That is test1 plus test3 divided by 2. End. Right. So then the second condition, it is here for the second test. So if second test marks is greater than the first test and the third test, then we will compare the first test with third test. If first test is greater, then test2 plus test1 by 2. Else test2 by test2 plus test3 by 2. End case. So when if the third condition, that is when test3 if it is greater than test1 and test2, then we will compare test2 with test 1. So this has to be 1. So in this query this has to be 1. So we will compare test2 with test1. Then if okay, there is a mistake in this command. Okay, so this has to be test1, this has to be test1 and this has to be test2. Okay, so if test1 is greater than test2, then it is test3 plus test1 by 2, else it is test3 plus test2 by 2. Okay, so this is how the inner case statements we have utilized it in order to find out the best of the two test marks and then the average of them. Then outside this, so from IA marks IA2, where IA1 USN is equal to IA2 USN. So this is again in the update command we have used a correlated nested query. So right, update IA marks IA1, set final IA is equal to, so inside this we have utilized the computation. Okay, or yeah, so select, and the entire command will end over here. And two instances of IA marks is used, one as IA1, so another as IA2, and these two are linked using IA1.usn is equal to IA2.usn. So if I just write the skeleton of this command, so it will look like this. So update IA marks IA1, set final IA attribute is equal to, here we will be computing that entire computing and assignment will happen based on the USN or the particular row. So that select statement and then followed by the computation, whatever we have done, will appear over here. Okay. So this query looks complicated, but if you understand how else if works, so this becomes simpler. So at any given point of time, only one of the when clause will return the result. Other two conditions will fail. So we'll have only one result over here. So next, let us look at the, after running the update command, again we have to check the result of this select star from IA marks. So at that time our final IA marks would have filled like this. So best of the two will be taken and its average is filled. So here in the first case, which are the two best? So 20 and 18. So 2018 average is 19. Then in the second case, the best two is 10 and 12, average is 11. In the second case, the best two is 16 and 14, its average is 15. In the third case, the best two is 15 and 20, its average is rounded to 16. Okay, so we'll get around 17.5. So it get rounded. So yeah, here we should get 17. So there was a change in the query. So when we run this, so we'll get 17. So again 18 and 20, so we will get 19. When both are 20, the result will be 20. So okay, in this case there is the result is a mismatch because in the query there was a typing mismatch for when the test 3 marks is greater. Okay, so that's why the result is like this. So when you execute it, so you just make that particular modification in this query. Okay. So in this query you make the modification when you execute, that is this entire condition, whatever it is there, it should be test 1 greater than or equal to test 2. So I just copied pasted the first condition, so that's why this mistake has happened. Okay, so the condition you replace with test 1 greater than or equal to test 2, and rest of the things are same. So then we'll get the correct result for that particular row also. So now let us move on to the fifth one, that is categorize the students based on the following criteria. If final IA is 17 to 20, then category is outstanding. If final IA is between 12 and 16, then category is average. and if final IA is less than 12, then category is weak. And this detail we need only for 8th semester ABC sections. Okay. So then what we'll do is, so our query will look like this. This is similar to the example which we take it as the age. If age is less than 25, young greater than old. So similarly here there has to be a comparison between the final IA marks. So first what we'll do is, so we have to print the student details also. So since we need the student details such as student name and student section is also required, so we need to join the three tables. So the three tables which we want to join would be student table, IA marks table, and semester section table. So three tables we need to join, and the join condition would be s.usn is equal to ia.usn, then se.ssid is equal to ia.ssid, and semester will put it as 8. But again, in the question it is asked as ABC, so that condition also we can add over here, because in the insertion we inserted only ABC section only. So otherwise, if more number of sections are there, then we can include that condition also, that is se dot section in. So since multiple we need to enter, so we can enter like this: A, comma B, comma C, or within a single quote. That can also be added in the query or omitted, so it doesn't matter. Then, so name we are extracting, fine. Then USN also we are extracting, two things. Along with this, we need a category information. So since we need the category information, so we will put that entire part in the case statement. So here it is, case, end case here, and that particular attribute or value we are renaming it to category. So in this we are writing three cases. So when IA dot final IA, so final IA is present in IA table and IA is the alias. When IA dot final IA, so since we are comparing the numbers, so we can utilize the between operator. So when final IA is between 17 and 20, then outstanding, right? Then when final IA is between 12 and 16, then we can put average. When final IA is less than 12, then we can put it as weak, and then end the case. So this is the end operator. So in this case we don't have the else part. This will give the result like this. When we execute this particular query, we'll get the result, and these students belongs to 8th semester ABC sections. Okay. So this completes all the 5 queries that we need to discuss in the college database. So execute all the commands and verify the results. So the screenshots and the commands so will be sent to you. So with this we can conclude this laboratory sessions. So you can enter your attendance in the chat window.